are here for an episode of Neurodivergent Conversations. I said that so weird. Neurodivergent, you know what I mean. This is
Neurodivergent.
neurodivergent cover. Maybe there's something in there that I like.
It tracks. I feel
Yeah,
neurodivergent with the emphasis on the nerd. I put the nerd in neurodivergent.
absolutely. Yeah, I second that. So this is Neurodivergent Conversations, and Dr. Catherine and we co-host this. I think we're going to try to start doing it like every other week. And we'll just launch into all things on our minds, except in a more organized way, because I have questions that I'm going to ask. And you'll have to let me know if you watch this, leave a comment letting me know. Do you want the questions beforehand? Because I was thinking, what do you think about that? Like, I thought it might be cool to share the questions beforehand so that people kind of have an idea of what we'll talk about. And then they can also start forming their own questions before even coming if they're going to join live. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
Sweet. Me too.
Yeah, for sure. People can be kind of like thinking about it before they come.
Yeah, yeah. So awesome. I think
And
we'll do
then,
that starting next time.
yeah.
Um, but I'll go ahead and launch into it. Question the first.
Mhm.
So, I have been wanting to ask you this for so long, so I'm glad we're here. So,
Okay.
on social media, I share a lot about my own personal journey, which does include like a lot of dreams that I've chased. And I've had some losses, but I've had quite a lot of wins as well. But when people hear about the wins, I often get like some semblance of this statement that's like, I wish I could do that too, but I can't because of X, like insert reason here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you know, I have been running my business for a long time. I've like moved to Mexico with my cats. I started another business. I bought a rental property that I paid $400 for. And I'm also a high school dropout and I'm a college dropout. And I burned out umpteen times and I have a history of trauma, but I still figured it out. And so I guess my question is, how can we tell the difference between honoring our real needs and unintentionally holding ourselves back because of learned helplessness?
Mm-hmm. That is such a big question, and it is really challenging because most of learned helplessness is sort of hidden. It's sort of, I do a lot of kind of conceptualize things as parts work, and I feel like the point of having different parts, like inner children, for example, would be that they can sort of hide.
Yeah.
And so some of us would probably be inclined to just not see the learned helplessness, like to be blended with it, right?
Mhm.
Because it feels like a part of me. But so how can we get past it would be to unblend and see, oh, I have a part that has learned helplessness. So it would be something like, well, that's not for me. That's for other people. I can't do that because of reasons. And then we could say, oh, part of me believes that's not for me because reasons. Once we can start noticing that there are different aspects of ourselves, that's when we can start to see it. And so I think the question is like, how do we overcome it? How do we tell the difference? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that starting of overcoming it, starting of knowing the difference between honoring our real needs and knowing what's learned helplessness is, um, yeah, starting to see ourselves. And so that concept of sort of unblending, whenever we have a thought that's one we probably would prefer not to have. Maybe that's something from our shadow. Maybe that's something that's hiding within us. And instead of being like, because I can't and it's not fair, that's not necessarily the most productive. So we need to be able to like turn inward and look at ourselves. So one way to do
Mhm.
that, I am having the thought that, or part of me thinks, or part of me believes, like, rather than just feeling like, that is us, right? You've heard the phrase, do we are not our thoughts.
Yeah.
It's like learning to observe aspects of ourselves.
Mhm.
And then how to tell the difference. It takes a while, it takes a minute, right? Like how to tell the difference between honoring our real needs and then unintentionally holding ourselves back.
Mhm.
How can we tell when we're honoring our real needs? That one is a challenge too, because absolutely we have to meet ourselves where we are.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we have things that we want to do, but we also know that we're not quite ready yet, we've got to be very patient with ourselves.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
that's that idea of unblending from a learned helplessness part is not just like dissociating from it and saying, that's not me, I'm going to push through. No, instead, what we need to do is turn toward that part. And one thing I like to do is for myself is to say, I see you, I'm sending you love.
Aw.
Instead of, I hate it when I do that. Go away, right?
Yeah,
There's parts that
absolutely.
are trauma parts, they exist from being invalidated and shunned. So we need to validate. Yeah, I'm not
100%.
there yet, but I am working on it. And thank you to the part of me that is trying to keep me safe by playing small.
Mhm.
And you make sense that you're trying to play small because that was how we survived. And guess what? It always comes down to this for me. Guess what? Turns out we can have nice things. It's me
Aw.
talking to little me. And then
Yeah.
she's like, what? And I'm like, well, because we can do hard things. And she's like, wow. And the hard thing we could do is feel our feelings and be noticed, be witnessed, and like meet ourselves where we're at.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it has to do with connecting to desires. And learned helplessness is the thing that sort of replaces our idea of even having desires. Because
Yeah.
what would the point be?
That's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too, because I know that you went after your dream, and that is why you have a doctor behind your name as well. So I bet you would agree to this that you still have the voice even when you walk toward what you want. The voice is still there. Like you just kind of decide, well, one, you befriend it, you turn toward it, you get curious about it, but you also just accept that that doesn't really limit you. It's just a voice. You are not your feelings, like you just said. And so I just kind of, yeah, sometimes it pops up. Some I might have to ask it sometimes, like what it's trying to tell me, but I don't stop. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I think
still
that's
march
also
on.
part of it is like one step at a time. Like kind of like do it anxious, do it fat. You know what I'm saying? Like don't wait until everything's all healed before you keep proceeding in your life. Like how I arrived at this was by taking one step and then another step and then another step and being pleasantly surprised along the way how it was actually possible, and then also doubting like is it really gonna, all the things. I mean, especially um long journeys that involve lots of pivots and turns, and like there's gonna be lots of doubt, but it's sort of like do it doubtful, do it afraid,
Yeah,
and just meet
100%.
the doubt and meet the afraid part. Like it makes sense that you would be afraid. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for answering. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I
Um,
hope it
I,
was a good answer.
it was a great answer. Yeah. And I think the next question kind of piggybacks on this one a bit, but for people who struggle with self-belief, what are some practical tools or practices that can help us build emotional resilience and self-trust? And I know you just named a really good one. Do you mind if I name another?
Of course. Yeah. For people who struggle with self belief, I'm reading it. What are
Oh
some
yeah.
practical tools or practices that can help us build? Yeah. One of them is that unblending idea. And what else you got,
Mhm.
Brittany? Because I know you got a lot.
Practical magic for neurodivergence.
What? You guys.
That's the whole point of it. That's the whole goal of it is just little by little,
Yeah.
step by step to learn to embrace your inner parts, to learn to regulate more
Mm-hmm.
often, like to have basically, I think of it like if you're going to start pushing towards the things you want in life, no matter what they are, not it doesn't always have to be career, but like all of the things, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to need a toolkit, like because along the way something might break or get a little loose, and you just need to be able to reach into your toolkit and have a myriad of options to pull it back together. I should find another way of saying
I
that because
love
that
that.
sounds too much like pull yourself together, but I
Right,
digress.
but to have resources, right?
Yes,
And practices
resourcing,
as resources. And then habits
absolutely.
are one of those. That's why I'm like loving the new format, because it's like every day we get an invitation to something specific and we're not having to
Mm,
like search for it. It's just available.
absolutely.
Also optional. We meet ourselves where we're at.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Mhm.
There's no pressure. You certainly don't need to do seven of these things a week, you know? You
Mhm.
can just do what you want to do. And I think that it's cumulative. I think even if you do like if you try to, and you don't have to, but if you try to commit to like two of these a week, you'll reap the
Mm.
benefits. You'll feel it. It's nice. Like even just creating them every day means that I'm doing them like 84 times
Oh, cool.
before I share it.
Yeah.
And I even feel it. I feel the differences because I definitely have times where I fall out of practice and I go longer than I care to admit between taking care of myself gently. And so these practices really help. Yeah.
That is so cool. And they were kind of,
Mhm.
I mean, at risk of like putting you on the spot, they were sort of channeled, weren't they? Like
Oh,
they
yes.
came to
Yeah,
you.
they did.
That's so neat. And I'm really excited that, yeah, they're still benefiting. Like, because it wasn't just Brittany thought this up. It was like Brittany was in meditation and this was an offering that she would like to share. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of secret. I'm excited about it.
That's thank you for saying like okay, so yes, they were channeled while I was in meditation. And I think going back to the first question of how sometimes you pivot and you just have to keep going, most of these you'll see in the videos, like my hair looks nothing like it does now because I just started my locks. This was 3 years ago that I made most of these.
No
And I've
way.
tried all these different ways to share them with the world, and they weren't always successful, but I knew that there was something powerful about them. So I kept trying to find new
Mm-hmm.
formats. And now we landed here and they seem to have found a really nice home here. But
Mm-hmm.
that's 3 years, 3 years of me trying over and over.
Right. Oh my
So
God. I love
yeah,
the locks analogy. It's like the way seeds grow. You know what I mean? Hair grows very
absolutely.
slow. Look how long Brittany's hair. These have
I
been, these little practices have been alive for a while. And they also are
absolutely.
coming from, I think, a place of like, wisdom that is collective, some kind of source that I'm into.
I
It's really
agree.
neat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally, yes,
Even
100%.
just doing them, trying them out, there may be skeptical parts that are like, I don't wanna, but it's like if we can convince the parts to try it out, it may be just like planting a seed. It might take a little while, but new habits, new practices, new tools
Yeah,
are
all kinds
wonderful.
of resourcing for us. Resourcing.
Yeah, resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to, if you don't mind, go to question three.
Yes, it's time. I'm timing to make us keep us on track. So,
Excellence.
all right.
Good.
Go.
So, all right. Sometimes I've heard people assume that I have like this mentality of like good vibes only or think positive, but like honestly, that could not be further from the truth. And facing my painful, difficult emotions is a major part of my process. But I do try to find meaning in like all the difficult things that happen to me. I have this saying that everything happens for me, never to me. And that just
Mm.
helps me to always search for the lesson, which helps me to evolve.
Mhm.
So I would love to ask, like, what in your opinion is the difference between healthy optimism and toxic positivity? And also to piggyback off of that, like, how can we approach painful experiences in a way that's honest, while still allowing space for growth?
Oh, right? I mean, toxic positivity is like spiritual bypass or whatever, like la 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 la, good vibes only.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're having a bad day, that might be because you're creating negativity in your life. Like it gets weaponized. It is,
Yeah.
ooh. So one thing is like develop some discernment,
Mhm.
right? Like that, how does that make me feel in my body, in my nervous system? What is my nervous system doing with this? Start to pay attention to that. That is a really important way of kind of telling the difference. And what the difference is, I would say, is that toxic positivity is inviting dissociation. It's inviting
Mhm.
more compartmentalizing and not healing, kind of the opposite. So if you
Yeah.
think about the type of meditation that a lot of people do, where they're just like, I'm going to have no thoughts and I'm going to just float away like a big balloon. And it's like, yay, but that is so ungrounded. And it's actually, especially for neurodivergent people, maybe why meditation doesn't really work because
Yeah.
we're already floating around in our head. We need the bottom up processing. So, yeah, You can tell the
Absolutely.
difference as you get accustomed to really leaning in and paying attention to your bottom up processing. Like a lot of us being in, oh my God, I got a new word for this. Being in I sometimes say meat suit, right? Like
Mhm.
is not comfortable. We're highly sensitive. It doesn't feel great to be in a body. So we might try to like be a brain in a jar and just not have a body. Wouldn't that be nice? And then
Would.
that leads to a lot of the stuff like, well, it's my body's too sensitive, so I'm not going to pay attention to it. Or we have like the poor interoception or even the spatial relationships. What's that called? The uh,
Proprioception?
proprioception, right?
Yeah.
So learning how to befriend the nervous system is part of it, noticing the
Mhm.
difference. How does it make me feel versus what would I like to feel? And so
Mhm.
meeting ourselves, tolerating negative stuff. So the idea of developing a window of tolerance to notice our emotions and how do they feel, or even am I hungry, maybe I'm angry because I've been holding my pee all day and I forgot, or
I struggle
whatever.
with those. Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of it is like, think about bottom up processing, look it up, try it, pay
Hmm.
attention to how you feel inside yourself, and you're going to start to be able to tell, right? We all are building discernment. I think at this point that's kind of like the task, the order of the day.
Yeah, we really
um
need to do this collectively. Yes.
yeah, and
Um,
so we have these highly sensitive vehicles. Oh yeah, I was
mhm.
going to say, I used to say meat suit. Somebody said to call our bodies, he called our bodies a electrified water bag.
Real.
How to
What did you-
operate our electrified water bags,
Oh my God. Yeah.
to best effect. And yeah, instead of like ignoring all of our signals that we get because we've been, you know to try and like avoid microaggressions or whatever, it's tuning in. It's like the opposite. And so it turns out we are bottom up processors. It's just that we weren't really always given the environments in order to make the most of that.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel in your body? And then the way you know where something is in your body is usually a nervous system response: fight, flight, freeze, submit, or attach, cry. So do I
Mm.
feel it? Is it an anger thing? Is it a I want to escape thing? To pay
Hmm.
attention to that. And my
Yeah.
timer went off.
Oh, okay.
We lose 5 minutes.
That was a fantastic answer. And
Okay.
I think it's funny because listening to you say this is maybe that is why it comes off sometimes to people like I'm good vibes only because I have a very specific, well, okay, this is a little autistic, but I have a very specific process in which I handle difficult feelings. And it actually lives in practical magic for neurodivergence. It's facing
Yeah.
difficult emotions. It's that practice. I don't
I
always
love
listen
that
to,
one. It's really good
yeah,
too. It's like
yeah.
to get a chance. Like a lot of times we don't even give ourselves a chance to, in a safe environment, to let ourselves experience a feeling, because it's like it's a big nope from me because there's people around, they're not gonna like to see my ugly cry or whatever.
Yeah. And I remember when I first started wanting to face my emotions, I told my therapist that like I'm afraid of the type of person I will become if I let myself feel those feelings. Like I thought they were going to overtake me, you know?
Mhm. Me
I
too.
didn't know yet about that golden rule that when you turn toward an emotion, scientifically proven that it passes in under 90 seconds. Like it's like a wave, it
Hmm.
washes over you, and then in 90 seconds or
Hmm.
less, it passes. Now, to be clear, if you're dealing with something painful, you may need to face that emotion every time it arises, and it might arise a thousand times a day. But if you turn to it each time, you'll find that like it passes very gently and it feels very loving. And it's yeah.
Yeah. We
And
need
I
a
think
chance. We need to give
mhm,
ourselves a chance to feel it. And it takes a little practice. And traumatized parts are, there's anxiety, and it's like, what are you anxious about? A lot of times it's anxiety over having to feel a feeling that some traumatized part believes will annihilate that part.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the parts believe that having feelings would annihilate them.
Mm,
And that's partly because we needed to cut off from them in order to survive. And that was the trauma. That's kind of like my working definition of trauma. Anything that overwhelms our capacity to cope in the absence of a regulating other. So when our parents' feelings took precedence over our own, or capitalism said there's no time for that, or boys don't cry, or whatever messages we got, those parts are like, okay, I did a good job. I'm regulated now because I feel nothing. And that's not regulation. That is dissociation. So we're inviting opportunities to practice having the feelings.
Yeah.
Different from talking about feelings, different from describing, or it's to be bottom up experienced.
Yeah, to be embodied, right? Would that be a good way to describe it?
I think so, absolutely. We got to
Embodied.
embody the feelings. Yeah, I think that's what
Yeah,
that
that's
means.
true.
And a lot of
Absolutely.
therapies don't do that.
Yeah.
Like CBT, people will say neurodivergents don't like CBT because all that did was teach me to gaslight myself. If it's all
Mm-hmm.
in the top down, the thinking, and then it maybe never really connects to the body, and the body's down there going like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Dang, I never thought of it like that, but that's so true. Like I went years doing CBT type of therapy, and it wasn't until I learned to just sit with difficult emotions. Like for me, I did start out having to like, you know, I was a writer before anything else. I'm not claiming to be an amazing writer. I'm just saying that it's one of my special interests. And so for me, what really helped is just fully illustrating the feelings. That was the first thing that
Oh,
helped. Like it feels like there's a herd of are they called a herd of horses? That doesn't seem right. Seems like there's 10 horses galloping through my
yeah, it's a
stomach.
herd. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It feels like however I could illustrate it, like in as much detail as possible and give the feeling a shape and a color. That really helped at first.
Oh,
And
I love that
yeah,
analogy. Now I'm
yeah.
like visualizing it as a herd of horses. There's the one where
Uh,
you're like the leaf down the stream. It's like, oh, horses. I love horses. Are you kidding me? There's
yeah.
a pink one and there's a purple one.
Oh my God, little My Little
Oh,
Ponies.
yeah.
Now it's so
Neurodivergent
nice.
squee.
Oh
Okay.
my God. This is so random, but it makes me think about the My Little Pony I lost when I was like 6, and I really loved that one. And
Oh
oh,
no. We got to
hijack.
get you a replacement.
Yeah. Oh my God, I do. That's such a good
Get on
idea.
Mercari and look it up, see, or wherever,
I'm
Poshmark.
gonna
Maybe
do
somebody's
it.
selling it. Yeah, yeah.
I remember every detail of it. And it's kind of funny because now that I say this aloud, I wonder if my parents thought I was too old for it. And so they made
Oh,
it, you know what I mean, disappear.
well,
That's the only
guess
thing I can
what?
think of.
You're the mommy now.
Hells
You
yeah.
get to buy whatever you want. And
Gosh. Ugh.
warning, you might have piles of stuffies before you, like, your little inner child gets everything she wants. But find that
Yeah.
little pony.
I will. I love that. I've been doing this anyway. Like me wearing this choker is me reconnecting with my inner teen, and it took some
Oh,
time for me to like get back in touch with her.
I
But the
remember
cat,
those.
yeah,
They're
and the
so
cat
cool.
ears, I don't wear them as
Uh-huh.
much anymore. But that's because I think at the time I needed to reconnect with a different
Yeah.
part, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
integrated, and so I'm sure I'll still wear them sometime. But it's just interesting
Yeah.
to see. My
Uh-huh.
Little Pony must mean I'm ready for a new part to come home. So that's cool. I'm into that.
It's so neat once we can make contact with parts that, so it's kind of like when we can help them heal the trauma, then they are like, oh, I have desires, and we can be
Yes,
like,
a
what are
request.
they? Yeah, and then it's like, oh my goodness, it's so amazing when there's a request coming from an inner child that thought she couldn't make any, and then you can fill it, and
Yeah,
then it's like, yeah, it's
I
just
love that.
very cool.
By the time this comes out, because I think this will come out in a ritual next week, but on Thursday, we're going to do Be the Parent You Needed
Oh
toddler.
yeah.
So we'll have a
Mm-hmm.
chance to connect with that version of us. I have one for
Oh,
every
totally.
developmental
Like age
phase.
developmental stage. Oh,
Yeah,
there's cool.
absolutely. So
Okay, I
I'm
can't
excited to
wait.
do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next question. Okay, this is I'll just ask. So, one of my biggest struggles in relationships has been communicating when I'm going through something hard. And I've noticed that sometimes when I share something painful, people will respond with a story of their own without really acknowledging what I just said. Um, and while I don't mind people connecting through their own experiences, what I really long for is to be validated first. And so when I've shared this publicly on social media, some people have accused me of being ableist and said that this is just how autistic people communicate. And but from my perspective, especially for those of us who are both neurodivergent and possibly carry trauma or have CPTSD, such as myself, feeling truly heard and acknowledged really matters. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think it's valuable for us to learn more attuned communication skills in relationships? Or is it more important to simply accept the natural ways that people already communicate?
Mm. Uh, both. It's both because we gotta meet ourselves where we're at, and we have to meet other people where they're at.
Mm,
But um, it's everyone needs to work on. I mean, that's kind of like we all have to learn things that we didn't get a chance to learn, and I think that we can build community and do better if we're not kind of like, okay, so it comes back to the learned helplessness thing,
mm,
right? Neurodivergence, especially those of us that are like late, high masking and maybe seeking a diagnosis later in life, we get a bad rap because people will say, oh, you're just looking for an excuse. And we've got to stand up against that. And one of the ways to do that would be to take accountability for our own, our own selves and our own ability. We're being internally ableist, I would think, if we are gonna say that's not for me, I can't, so I should just be allowed to trample all over your desires. Like,
uh,
not cute, and also like a little sad because there's a missed opportunity there.
for connection.
And not to
Yeah.
be harsh, but I've experienced that too, and it also is very difficult skill to
Yeah.
learn enough self-regulation to be able to listen, to understand
Yeah.
before replying. And it is very hard. I've got the combo pack. So when I have a response that is in my mind, I'm like, ooh, 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 I need to say it because if I don't, it's going to leave my mind. I'll run out and I'll never be able to catch that thought again. And like, okay, I know that's like a real thing, but I also have to figure out what to do about that so that I suddenly don't, you know, so that I don't make people feel invalidated. We all
Mm,
need to be able to um, validate our own experiences and also validate each other's if we want to have community. So
mhm,
listen to understand. It's a skill that we need to really practice, like what I heard you say was, and take, when we can get our nervous system more regulated, then we can stay with our thoughts and to be able to listen a little bit longer versus just sort of bouncing around and then realizing like, oh no, what did I say? And maybe not even realizing if we hurt someone's feelings. So one of the things about this that has been an idea that has been coming up for me a lot is like there's the neuro and then there's the psych. The neuro is the part that's like the operating system or the nervous system that we got, and that creates different abilities and different capacities that's what we have to work with. And then the psych is what we are doing with it. Everyone's got
mhm,
psychology, so we can have different types of defenses and different types of learning and kind of strategies that we apply. So yeah, everyone, just because we might have um really, really sensitive nervous system with like really strong PDA reactions and stuff like that doesn't mean it's okay to be a dick.
mhm,
If we're a jerk and we're pushing away people accidentally, whether it's on purpose or not, we should be able to meet ourselves where we're at and meet other people where they're at so that we can get support to be able to heal some of our traumas and to be able to show up for each other. And that means learning how to tolerate some emotions that aren't that comfortable at first. I
mhm.
hope that's a good answer. I hope I didn't say anything stupid,
It's a
but
no, that's a fantastic answer. Thank you for
thanks.
sharing your insights and
Yeah.
and your expertise on this because as I hear you talk, I realize, and I swear I didn't plan this. all these things are related. They're really related to your relationship to yourself and how regulated you are, or the tools in your toolkit to get regulated. Because as you learn to embrace all of your parts and talk to them gently, it becomes, I think, because it is a hard skill to learn. But
It's
when
not easy.
yeah, but the more I started talking to myself gently in all the situations that are difficult day to day and even past trauma, the
Mm-hmm.
easier it is for me to talk to other people, because I kind of feel like when somebody shares something painful with me, especially a trauma, I feel like I'm talking to their child, their inner child. And like, I want to respond the way I would respond to a little child who is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes more naturally because I talk to my own little baby girl all the time. I call her baby girl, you know?
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Hurt people, and sometimes I'm the hurt person and I've hurt people, and I need to
Same.
go in and see if I can. I mean, a lot of it is about reparenting.
Hmm.
And, some of the parenting strategies that came through the generations were like really toxic. The idea of like, let them cry it out, like that does not teach self regulation, that teaches dissociation. And that creates those traumatized parts that are scared to have emotions or needs. And the good parenting strategies that are out now is connect and redirect with emphasis on the connect. First, connect. Take 90 seconds to connect, hold space. Wow, those are big feelings. You look angry. You're mad. You're big mad. Yeah, I get it. Take the time, and then you can be like, okay, now that we've got that out of our system, would you like to brush your teeth before or after story time? That's the redirect. The
Yeah.
problem is that everyone was like, redirect first. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Like
So
ignore and
what?
redirect.
Yeah, it's like,
Mm.
come back when you're done crying, go to your room.
Mm.
So,
Damn.
yeah, the parenting skills that we would apply for outer children, we need to go back and like give it to ourselves.
Mhm.
And then that's how we can develop abilities that we didn't know we had. Abilities like listening well and showing up with the appropriate level of empathy, and, checking in case we got carried away, and like being like, even if it's cringe, to be like, oh no, was I not listening? Can I please loop back and try to do better? The
Yeah.
same way we might be doing internally, we want to do that for each other. And that can be
Absolutely.
hard. But
Yeah. And it will never be perfect. I fuck up all the time with this, but
yeah.
I'm trying. I own it. At least I own it that I
Yeah,
need
it's
to
like,
try. Yeah.
turns out we can have nice things, and it's because we can do hard things.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Hmm.
I have just one last question for you. What is the last show, movie, or song that you listened to or watched that left an impact on you?
Oh my gosh. So I don't consume a lot of like movies and stuff like that. And I hate to say that I haven't been like reading, but I admit I haven't been reading very much lately. But I will say, when you said song, I definitely like very much connect to music. And I was trying to think of a song because I haven't been listening even to like my, Pandora or Spotify that much. But a
Mm.
song came to mind, and that's why I was really glad you had this ahead of time. The song that sticks with me right now is the one about the bunnies on the trampoline. There were bunnies that were jumping on a trampoline, and it turns out that they weren't real. Have you seen this? Oh my gosh.
I've seen the AI bunnies, and I also didn't know they were AI, but I have not heard this song.
I have a link. I don't know if we could play it, but I would love
Yeah.
to, because it's just a
Oh,
little clip. Okay. Ugh.
that's
and
so
and I think part of the reason the song really takes me is because I have like this young part that is so enamored with musicals, and this guy is like, he's writes the song like it's from a musical.
Oh my
And
God.
so I'm just very hopeful that we can play it. I don't really know how to make the thing play, but maybe you can.
Let me see. Let
So
me
it'll be
share
short
it.
because it's a snip of the song.
What happens if I do share sound and like a screen? Hold on. Do I need to? technologically challenged. One moment, please. I'm gonna open this.
Tech
Yeah,
challenge
rough.
time.
It's rough. Oh, it's
It's
a
easy
TikTok.
to look up, by the way, if we can't do it.
And
It's
I'll share a link in the YouTube video.
Olive Songs, I think is
All
the
right.
name.
I think
Okay.
we're on to something. Share sound, sharing, password. Okay. Is it sharing?
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
here
well,
goes.
let's see if the sound comes in.
No
Oh,
sound.
the sound's not coming.
Oh,
Darn it.
wait. I think I know why.
Oh, it says
TikTok.
unmute right there.
Ha ha ha. Okay.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
were bunnies that were jumping on a trampoline, and I just heard that they weren't real. If a bot can inhabit an unknowing rabbit, it might manufacture the way you made me feel. How do I know that the sky's really sunny? Sometimes it feels like your love is as real as an unknowing bunny.
Whoa. First of all,
There were
amazing.
bunnies that were jumping on a trampoline. Oh my God. It gives me
Yeah,
goosebumps. It gives me the little squee.
very
Um,
musical coded for sure.
yeah, right? Like,
Oh my God.
oh, so, and then it's the Kat and I were talking earlier, like we really need to spend as much time off screens and together in community outside of screens because it's getting very weird
Yes, it is.
online now. So that just
Yeah.
speaks to the depth of, a very timely and really important um topic.
Oh my God.
Remember we were talking earlier today about like it checks more than one box, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about something that we need to learn about. It also, for me, it connects with that musical theater theme.
Yeah.
And
It,
yeah, makes you think deeply.
it does. First of all, he just presented some very interesting questions that I'll be mulling over this evening. Like, how do we know if the sky is the sky? Things I kind of always wonder about.
Mhm.
But secondly, I wonder, like, what if it were 30 years ago and that video suddenly, we didn't have email that long ago. Whenever email first started, what if we got that
It was
video
probably
then?
80s, right? Like 30 some years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
I think the
But I
first email I
wonder.
heard it was like 1988 or 89.
So
So
let's
yeah.
skip to like when it was more like a household thing, but just
Yeah.
newly. So like,
Like 25 years ago, 2000.
yeah, if I had gotten those bunnies in an email, would I have thought that they were real? Because I feel like at that point I was spending so much more time in the actual world that maybe I would have
Oh,
detected it more easily. I wonder.
interesting.
We really are online too much. It's like blurring the lines.
Yeah. And it's causing
Damn.
trauma. Like, I recently had a friend that told me he saw a video of a girl being mauled by an orca. And
Oh.
I'm like, that was probably AI. But
Mm-hmm.
this friend was like, he's very sensitive and was very traumatized by it. Like, that shouldn't be shown. And I'm like, would it help to know that it might be AI?
Probably.
Because,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the way he's describing it is like there's like blood and gore, and I'm like, oh, of course some idiot typed that into like AI. Can you create me a horrifying scene?
Exactly.
Oh,
Ooh, dislike that.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, I'm glad you brought up horror because I was going to feel bad telling you what my thing is that left a lasting impact.
You're into horror movies. Tell me.
Yes, I am very into horror movies. Well, first of all, I went to see Weapons like 2 weekends ago, and I've
Okay.
been watching think pieces and going down Reddit rabbit holes ever since. But that's not the thing. The thing that
Oh.
got me most recently is that I I don't know how I missed this. I saw it before, I swear I did. But I watched Hereditary last weekend. It's
Oh, okay.
easily the most horrifying movie I've ever seen. It's so freaking
Oh
scary.
no. Is that
To
like
the
out currently? Or
It's
is
like
it, I
7
don't know.
years old.
Oh, Hereditary. Okay. I
It
might
is
check
like
it out.
I couldn't sleep for several nights. I had to turn lights on. It's that level odd and scary and oh my God. I still
Whoa.
see things in my, you know, yeah, but I want to watch it again, just
Mm,
because so many things unfolded later in the movie. I'm like, what did I miss in the first half? By the way, movies are totally my special interest.
that's your
I'm
thing, yeah.
thinking, yeah, like maybe like horror, psychological thrillers and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so
I
that's
like
my
the
answer.
the psychological thriller type of horror, not the jump scare type.
get it. I get it entirely. You might like weapons in
I
that
might.
regard. Yeah, I thought it was really masterfully done. I really like they use silence. I've never heard anyone, I don't think I've ever seen a horror movie where they use silence so well. No score, no
Oh.
sounds, and it's the eeriest fucking
I
thing.
could imagine like the
Yeah.
freeze response coming on,
Yeah,
like, why is the sound off? Like,
yeah,
where's my
exactly.
manipulative music that tells me how to feel?
How do I feel now? Oh my God. A lot of anxiety gets created in that
I could
space.
see
Wowza.
that. Yeah. Funny.
Well, that's it. Oh my gosh, it's exactly 8 o'clock. We did it.
Yes. We sort of stayed on task.
We did.
Yay
We did.
us.
I do want to ask before I don't want to, I'm sorry to put the pressure on it of saying before we close out, but does anyone have any questions?
Oh yeah.
No, good. Okay. Excellent. And I'll have to remember next time we do this to let people
Oh
know
wait.
that
Yeah, there's something
oh,
in the chat, but it just said no. No
oh, gotcha.
questions.
Okay. Maybe next time I'll remind people, I'll make a note of this to write your questions in the chat box as we go, and then I'll answer them all. I'm sorry, I'll ask them all at the end.
Cool.
So we don't forget anything. Yeah. But thank you. So to anyone listening, this has been recorded live on our Zoom. So you are always welcome to join us live. And that way you can sit and observe. You can ask questions. You can join in the conversation, whatever you got. We are here with you. But for that, we're closing out. That's it for this week.
Bye.
Bye. No, wait, I pressed the wrong button. 1 second.
Oh no, did we not record?
No, we did, but I was about to end the meeting instead of pressing stop recording. So there we go.